don't believe in privatization. I think that it is something that has not been proven from the information that I've seen to be a worthy alternative to what we have right now in the city of Detroit, and that is our union work. I think I'm very strongly behind the union employees, unionized city. I come from a family that has always had a car in the driveway, that has always been able to provide me with proper medical attention when I broke something or if I needed dental attention, because of the strides that my father's union, the UAW, who just retired 39 years, after 39 years, have been able to provide our family. My mom's also a teacher, so she's with the Detroit Federation of Teachers. But I do understand that we're going to have to make some very tough, and in some situations, bad decisions. And I say bad decisions because whatever decision you make is going to be tough on somebody, but it's going to be bad for others. If that means that there has to be a job cut, if that means that there has to be some form of benefit reduction. I don't support privatization, once again, because I have not seen any documentation that will show that the city of Detroit, in the long run, we may save money in the short run. I think that's always evident. But in the long run, there must be some evidence that the entire value of this switch to privatization will actually work, and I have not seen that yet. In order to enforce the executive order, I'm going to have to get the cooperation from my fellow colleagues as well. But it's something that I will champion because, again, we start talking about losing these jobs in the city of Detroit. Many of these contractors, they may so-called have a building or facility in the city of Detroit. They may have phone numbers in the city that has 313 area code, but many of them that I've talked to, people who work within the city of Detroit, they find out that these individuals don't actually own a headquarters here within our city limits. And it's important to make sure that whatever contract we enter into, that there is a certain percentage, 51 at least percent of the workers reside in the city of Detroit. That's imperative because what you're doing now is bringing, again, money and revenue back into the city. You give your citizens, your residents, an opportunity, a fair opportunity at employment. But again, it in turn allows the city to recoup some of that money because they live in the city, and hopefully these individuals will be able to invest back into the city with their taxes and also with their purchases. But I have to work again with my colleagues and as well with the mayors. Yeah, one of the charter revisions that I've seen and I think has been talked about a lot is this possibility of changing the city council to districts versus at large. Now, I do believe that that will provide a benefit to the citizens of the city. It will provide some sort of accountability with a caveat. I believe that there must be some additional powers that are provided, powers of accountability, if you will, provided to the city council. Because as it stands right now, as I mentioned earlier, there are only 3 powers, charter mandated powers that the city council has, and that's, again, to approve contracts, to approve the city budget, and also to set laws. But when it comes to getting a light turned on in a neighborhood, when it comes to getting a water main break fixed, when it comes to just getting a street repaired, they don't have the ability to directly talk to these individuals or demand that these facilities or these departments adhere to those issues in the community. And I believe as a city council member, if I'm being held accountable, it is important for me to be able to reach out to that director and tell them and impress upon them the important nature of getting this issue rectified. But then even more than that, if they choose not to, or if they ignore what is taking place, or ignore that request, there should be some form of repercussion that I could, or as a member of a 9-member body, the city council, should be able to push upon that particular director. I believe that if we're going to go back to the council by district form, there should also be a certain number that are elected at large, because again, I believe that provides additional accountability in the form of the city council. There's going to be some areas that very well may not have strong city council members, and people within those areas need to have someone else within the city council, the legislative body, who they can call if there's some issues that are not being taken care of, and that's where the at-large members come in. And I think why, for me, the by district concept works is because elected officials, city council members, will not have the ability to ignore any segment of the community, not one block club, not one vote. And right now, running at large, you have, it's a large city. It's 139 square miles, and you can't touch every part of the city. But I think there's also some areas of the city that may not have people who vote like others do, and they're ignored during this process. And I think when it comes down to a council by district, every vote will count because the voter pool is much smaller. So council by district is the most, in my opinion, that's one of the major issues that I would look to adjust on the charter commission. But it all comes down to the voters. I think that as a city council member, it's important that you do have certain powers that are not charter mandated. You have the power of influence, and you are someone who's been elected to be an advocate for the citizens of this city. So what I would do if necessary, I would go, first of all, I would make a phone call and see if I can get some of these issues addressed as it relates to the billing process. And if that doesn't work, then I'll personally go down myself, or I may first send a staffer down to have a conversation, a meeting with one of the executives at these particular institutions. If that does not work, then I will come down myself personally. If that doesn't work, then that's when I bring in the media, and we sit down and we express our concern on behalf of the citizens in a more public manner, because my entire background, again, has been in communication. I've worked in the media, and I see how effectively it can actually turn things around. But I think that our elected officials right now aren't using the avenues that they have of persuasion and influence properly. They're only, in my opinion, doing a lot of these things on their own behalf and not on behalf of the people.